here are 5 things that you can have in your freezer to help you save time and money in the kitchen. Fruit. Frozen fruit, especially bananas, berries, and acai, are always in my freezer no matter what the occasion, because they're such an easy way to whip up a breakfast on the go, or I even sometimes end up having it for dinner when I'm short on time or on really hot summer days. Meat. I don't know about you, but when it comes to meat, I always get it fresh from the butcher. But sometimes I don't have the time to go to the butcher before coming home to make dinner. So I always have some sort of stewing meat in the freezer ready to go, because with a pressure cooker, I can take it straight out of the freezer, put it in the pressure cooker, and 40 minutes later, even without defrosting, it'll be perfectly falling off the bone, and you would never have noticed that it was frozen in the first place. I also like to keep chicken breasts or chicken thighs as a backup option, but those I usually have to remember to defrost. So more often than not, stewing cuts of beef like ossobuco, brisket, or chuck are always in my freezer. Veg, especially like peas, green beans, spinach, kale, I always have in my freezer because there's such an easy way to add a little bit more nutrition to your food, bulk things up, they don't take up much space, and there's such an easy way to add fresh ingredients to your food without having to keep things fresh in your fridge. If you've been following me for a while, there's barely ever a food that I make without something green in it, and now you know why. Tomato paste. I use tomato paste all the time in my cooking, and the only way you can get them is in a can, a jar, or in a paste form. I never buy the tube form. I don't know why it comes in that way. Even though the cans are quite small, if you buy the can, you still don't even use the whole thing, and it usually ends up going bad before I have the chance to use it again. So what I do to save myself money is buy a big jar of it, lay it on a baking tray, freeze it, then chop it up into cubes and put it in a bag or a jar and in the freezer, so that whenever I need a little bit of tomato paste, I just grab a couple cubes out of the bag and it's good to go. And last but not least, a full meal. If you have a full-time job, maybe even have kids, cooking up fresh dinners every night can sometimes be tricky. And as far as 30-minute meals go, you also have to have a little bit of creativity. So if you want to save yourself a little bit of time, I always have some sort of baked dish in the freezer. This is either a lasagna, a pie, a moussaka, something along the lines that you can just literally grab the whole tray out of the freezer, chuck it in the oven, and maybe half an hour later, you'll be good as new. You're simply reheating it up. So there it is, 5 different things to have in your freezer to help you have a little bit more convenience in your everyday cooking, all while saving you time and money. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and if you have any other things that you always have in your freezer too. You're watching Food for Days.